Welcome back to class. In this session, we are going to discuss Unit 8.2, which is on reported speech. But before we get onto reported speech, there is some vocabulary that I need to explain to you. It is about gradable and non-gradable adjectives. Gradable adjectives are such as big, you can say bigger, or really big, or not very big. That is gradable because you have grades how big something is. But non-gradable adjectives, you cannot grade it because it is already at the top of the level. You can see here is an American swimmer and he won the competition and he looks very happy. When you speak English, sometimes you say a lot of very happy, very sad, very small, and so on. But then you can also use non-gradable adjectives. For example, very happy is ecstatic. So when you say ecstatic, you cannot say very ecstatic because it is already at the top of the level. But you use a different kinds of adverb, completely ecstatic. This athlete does not look very happy. I think she is very sad. You don't say very sad, you say devastated. And you cannot say very devastated, you say absolutely devastated. Single-minded is when you have only one objective in your mind and you focus all your efforts to achieve that objective. We call it single-minded. For example, you are now single-minded on your study. So you can say, I am totally single-minded on my study. Let's take a look at some examples. So gradable or common adjectives. We say, he missed a very important goal. If you don't want to say very important, you say in non-gradable adjectives, he missed a completely vital goal. Vital means very important. He is a really big success. This is gradable. You use really, not absolutely big, but really big. He is feeling totally distraught. Distraught is disappointed, very sad too. So, the rules for gradable or common adjectives: use common intensifiers such as really, pretty, very to make these adjectives stronger. But for non-gradable adjectives, these adjectives are already strong. So you use special intensifiers such as totally, absolutely to make these stronger. Now let's try to match the adjectives on the left to those with similar meanings on the right. Number 1, happy. Very happy is ecstatic. Upset. Very upset is devastated. Hungry. Very hungry is starving. Tired. Very tired is exhausted. Next, we are going to do this exercise. Number 1, she must be totally ecstatic about her success. Number 2, a really big sports stadium just opened near here. Number 3, she was absolutely filthy after playing soccer all afternoon. Filthy means very dirty. Number 4, I love running. I'd be totally devastated if I had to give it up. Alright, now let's take a look at the direct and indirect speech. First of all, we are going to fill in the gaps based on the material in the audio.
Unit 8, page 96, track 12. 1.
I want to be the best player on the field.
2.
I won the race easily.
3.
I'm not going to practice today.
4.
You can succeed if you're confident.
5.
Why are you feeling so negative?
6.
Will you help me tomorrow?
Now let's take a look at how we change the direct speech to indirect speech. I want to be the best player on the field. Andy Cole said that he wanted to be the best player on the field. So you see here, want in the direct speech becomes wanted in the indirect speech. And I becomes he, because now Andy Cole said, I won the race easily. She said she had won the race easily. You can see here the past simple won becomes past perfect. She had won. The pronoun I becomes she because she said. I'm not going to practice today. He told me he wasn't going to practice that day. Am not going to becomes wasn't going to. And today becomes that day. You can succeed if you're confident. I told him he could succeed if he was confident. As you can see, the modal auxiliary can becomes could in the indirect speech. You becomes he, because in the indirect speech, I told him. So you will have the same pronoun, him and he. Why are you feeling so negative? I asked him why he was feeling so negative. So you still use why, but then you change the pronoun you into he. But you don't say, I asked him why was he feeling so negative. You say, why he was feeling so negative. And it is not a question, it is a reported speech. So you don't have the question mark. Will you help me? She asked me if I would help her the next day. As you see here, if you have yes no question like will you help me, then you need the word if I would help her. The next day is actually from the word tomorrow. Now let's take a look at the rules. Number 1, Andy Cole said he wanted to be the best player on the field. In the rules it says that can be used after say or tell, but it isn't necessary. So you can delete that. You see the word that is in brackets there. It means it is optional. The second one, she said that she had won the race easily. In the rules, don't use an object after say. It means you cannot say she said me or she said him, because you don't need an object after the word say. The third example, he told me that he wasn't going to practice that day. In the rules, see, an object must be used after tell. So you have to say, he told me, he told him, he told her, and so on. The next example, I told him that he could succeed if he was confident. Now this is the change from can into could. The next example, I asked him why he was feeling so negative. In the rule, it says D. A question word is used when reporting WH questions. But this is not a question, this is a reported speech. You don't say, I asked him why was he feeling. You say, I asked him why he was feeling. The last example, she asked me if I would help her the next day. In the rules, E, if is used when reporting yes-no questions. Sometimes you also use whether. So you can use if or whether for a yes-no question. And the last rule there, the rule that changes the tense or modal verb back is sometimes ignored. This can happen if the situation is still true or for dramatic effect when telling a story. For example, he said his name is Tommy. You don't have to say he said his name was Tommy. because his name is still Tommy until now.